In 1556, Georgius Agricola, the father of the modern mineralogy, published the Metallica. It is Europe's most famous important mining and metallurgy textbook before 19th century. And almost 80 years later, the Jesuit Johann Adam Bell, whose Chinese name is Tang Wang, translated it into Chinese under the title of 坤舆格致. But unfortunately, 4 years later, in 1644, the fall of the Ming Dynasty led to the manuscript's loss before it could be published. And until 9 years ago, until 2015, a scholar named Han, a Chinese scholar, discovered a manuscript copy of 坤舆格致 in the Nanjing Library. So we can finally know what the translation is. Exacting research on 坤舆格致 mainly focuses on two aspects: analyzing its historical context and transmissions, and examining how its content corresponded to the metallica or other works. But however, the core question of our study is elsewhere. We focus on the following question. The first, how did Johann Adam translate Western modern mineralogical theories and practice with the Chinese intellectual framework? And second, did this process lead to a transformation or blending of knowledge on both sides? And third, if translation indeed caused a distortion or alteration of traditional knowledge, we seek to understand how this collegiate framework of knowledge was reflected in mining and metallurgical practice, and what reactions it sparked in China. Let's first take a look at Johann Adam's knowledge background in understanding mining and minerals. That is Western early modern mineralogical theory. And in short, Aristotle's understanding of minerals emphasized its material causes and efficient causes, the former being exhalations and the latter being cold and heat. He didn't address formal and final cause, which is unusual for him, but indeed he didn't, he left them out. Then in the alchemical tradition, minerals were given a different material cause, and more importantly, alchemists believed that human technique could change the species of minerals and metals, essentially can change their natura, their nature. I want to highlight this medieval mineral theory, which can be traced back to the great Abbot on minerals. He refined Aristotle's ideas addressing alchemical controversies by emphasizing celestial and diving force as the formal cause of minerals. Where human techniques can provide material and efficient cause, only heavenly force can establish their substantial form of minerals, meaning alchemists cannot change minerals' nature without a diving spot. The mineral knowledge lies in understanding their natura or substantial form. Yeah. But by the time of Agricola in the 16th century, things seem to be changed. Here is an illustration from the Metallica, where Agricola carefully depicted the different forms of mineral veins. He categorized them based on their shapes and locations, aiming to help miners. Thank you very much. Based on their shapes and locations, aiming to help miners identify and locate various mineral veins more effectively in different settings. If we delve into the basis of this approach, we find that Agricola actually proposed a theory of mineral formations that differed from those ancient one and medieval times. The new theory is that mineral jewels containing various components flow to different locations and deposits, forming distinct veins at those locations. Understanding these veins is not based on prior knowledge of mineral nature, but rather on precise and detailed experience in discovering the vines themselves. Such a mineral theory underwent significant change with Agricola, which I refer to as an epistemological shift. He claimed that minerals form through the accidental combination of mineral juices under varying heat and cold, requiring only material and efficient cause. He stated that minerals don't need a substantial form granted by the heavens. And then he developed the first mineral classification. Minerals are classified based on their properties, which are understood as a collection of specific external attributes defined by human reason. Visible external structure, physical characteristics, and their usefulness to humans. A mineral became cognitive objects with defined attributes. Simultaneously becoming target for utility and profit. This shift laid the foundation for the metallurgical industry depicted in the metallica. Although the 16th century marked a transformation in mineral concepts corrected by an epistemological shift, a brief review of the development of modern mineralogy reveals that the dualistic structure of form and matter continued to shape Western mineralogical and natural thought, which we call holomorphism. In the Middle Age, this form was imparted by nature object by celestial force and a diving wheel. However, in the early modern period, this form shifted to human reason and cognitive structures, with human reason providing the foundation for the natural order of minerals. As shown in the famous illustration on the left regarding to the great chain of being, everything must receive its form from a transcendent source to attain true essential meaning. However, pure matter, on the other hand, occupies the lowest position on this train. Matter itself never held active significance apart from its relation to form. But in contrast, Chinese philosophers offer a completely different explanation on this point. Qi philosophy is one of the most important traditions in Chinese philosophy. Qi is a fundamental constituent of the universe, is not framed within the dualistic categories of materiality or spirituality. Rather, it is the foundational essence that exists pure to matter and spirit. Qi philosophy in particular refer to the philosophy that view Qi as the most basic origin of the universe, explaining the generation and operation of all things through aggregation and dissipation of Qi. The illustration on the right in the morning, Jiang Lu also cites this picture. This illustration depicts the process of the generation of all things in 5 steps. It originates from one of the most renowned philosophers of the Song Dynasty, Zhou Dunyi. Over time, this image has been interpreted in various ways. One interpretation, rooted in the philosophy of Qi, emphasizes that the blacks and white in the second step, they are the different step of Qi. They are different state of Qi. Means yin and yang Qi, and their dynamic movement and auto affection gradually give rise to everything in the world. Most importantly, regardless of the different interpretation, we can observe a clear difference between this image and the precious one, the great train of being. Here, the ultimate origin, the Taiji, means the first state of Qi, and the final generation of all things, they share one same sample. This is very different from the dualistic worldview of holomorphism and reflect a monistic perspective. So how does this kind of monistic qi-based philosophy explains the formation of minerals. Let's take a look at the illustration here. These two illustrations are from a technical work of the Ming Dynasty, Song Yingxing's 天工开物. In fact, Song provides a series of illustrations to explain the relationship between different types of metals and their natural environment, as well as the varying levels of effort required to mine them. Silver mine, being a relatively precious resource, can only form in majestic and rugged mountain ranges. To obtain them, people must endure harsher nature conditions and extend great effort. In contrast, iron ranks the lowest among metals, can often be casually dug out from ordinary soil. These two illustrations highlight the correspondence between the production of metal ores and their nature environment, driven by a common underlying principle, the flow and attraction of qi. Human action and practice must also align with the movement of qi. So Song Yingxing was so deeply influenced by qi philosophy. In his work, he explains metal formation and metallurgical techniques through a qi-based framework, demonstrating how human action aid in transforming yin and yang qi. As Dagmar Schäfer highlights in The Crafting of the 10,000 Things, Song Yingxing was not merely documenting techniques, but seeking to understand the nature principle to rectify the world's order via universal qi knowledge. In his monistic qi worldview, nature knowledge, technical practice, and the ethical, practical, and the moral realm, they were inseparable, relying on the dynamic interaction of yin and yang. In this monistic worldview of qi, the generation of minerals does not involve a dualistic opposition between a transcendental form and a passive matter. Instead, it is explained through the auto-affection of yin and yang qi. So this understanding of mineral contrasts sharply with early modern Western minerals. In fact, Johann made a great effort to reconcile the two. I will provide two examples to illustrate how Adam created a new collaged framework in his translation. The first example is Adam's use of the term qi, which he echoed with exhalations. In the 坤舆格致 preface, Adam described two types of qi. One qi is fire-like dry qi, and the other is water-like moist qi. When dry qi overpowers moist, minerals form. When moist overpowers dry, metals are produced. If you replace qi with exhalation here, you will find that it closely mirrors the exact wording from the end of Meteorology, Book 3. Adam even mentions that if these qi are released beyond the earth and rise into the sky, they form phenomena like wind, rain, clouds, and lightning. This is precisely the main subject Aristotle discussed in Meteorology. The illustration here on the right depicts the natural world as constructed by Aristotle in Meteorology, where he connects sublunary meteorological phenomena through two types of exhalations. Clearly, Yuan Adam borrowed this Aristotelian framework in his translation. Here, he emphasized dry and moist qi as the material cause of minerals. So, instead of directly translating Agricola, he used Aristotle's worldview, and he adopted Aristotle's exhalation theory, where dry and moist exhalations were thought to form ores and metals. This explanation aligns with qi philosophy's idea of yin and yang, they interacting to create minerals. However, in fact, interpreting qi in a materialized sense represents a misunderstanding of its true nature. The second example is more practical practical case related to how to choose a suitable location for mining. For both Agricola and the traditional Chinese mining knowledge, it is very important to carefully observe the landscape and select a location that is good for mining. At the beginning of the chapter 3 in De Metallica, Agricola explains what kind of landscape are suitable for mining Jews for minor Jews to form vines. He also describes what landscape are convenient for miners to live and work, and for transporting oils and materials. In the illustration on the right, Agricola points out some various locations on a mountain where mineral Jews might deposit to form vines. The vines in different locations have distinct orientations, requiring different mining techniques for extraction. These recommendations based on the visible form of mineral veins and the practical working conditions of miners clearly have a theoretical foundation. This foundation lies in Agricola's materialist theory of minerals and his emphasis on practical experiments. However, the same question in China received a notable different response. From lots of Ming and Qing texts, we can see that the practice of finding a mining site was often linked to geomancy, feng shui, while people also valued the observation of mountains. Their focus was not on the visible forms of the mountain or vines, but on the invisible forms, namely the flow and manifestation of qi within the mountains. For instance, you can see the mouse, right? Yeah. This is the Yunnan province official about the mining, and this official stated the invisible form of a mountain and the flow of qi are the most important aspects, closely aligning with the principle of feng shui, geomancy. Thus, the condition for mining precious metals was the ability to grasp the invisible qi of the mountain. This explains why the mountain depicted in Song Yinxing's illustration in the left about the origin of the self closely resembles those in traditional Chinese landscape paintings. Traditional landscape painting similarly required artists not to represent the visible form of mountain, but to strive to capture its invisible qi. When we examine how Johann handled this tricky issue in his translation, we find that he once again adopted a strategy of misinterpretation. On the surface, he used language resembling geomancy to summarize the question of how to locate mineral veins. However, he then shifted to providing detailed descriptions of the visible forms of mountains, much like Agricola did in the third book of De Metallica. This approach clearly deviated from traditional Chinese practice in mineralogy. And we can find many examples showing how Adam approached translating mineral theory, but due to time constraints, I will have to conclude here with a summary of the impact his translation had. The first, Adam's translation fostered a collaged framework of knowledge combining Chinese and Western natural philosophy, reconstructing mineral formation explanations. And the second, this lead to a materialization of qi and introduced a transcendent formal course, shifting Chinese mineral knowledge into a holomorphic framework. While the third, while enabling material-based classifications and mining practice, it also saved mineralogy from cosmic order, making it an independent field. Finally, let me examine the different response of Chinese people at that time to this collaged framework of knowledge in 坤舆格致. There are some people very highly appreciate the work Adam Deng, Li Tianjin, Adam's collaborator, and Emperor Chongzhen valued Kunyu Gerzi for its utilitarian benefits. Mining could expanding imperial finances. It offered practical, easy-to-apply methods, and the Western success in mining suggested it as a proven path to strengthen and enrich the nation. But at the same time, there were others who held in entirely different stands, most of whom were deeply learned intellectuals in China. Liu Zongzhou, the most prominent chief philosopher master of the late-Ming, firmly opposed Kunyu Gerzi, even risked confrontation with the emperor. His objection can be summarized briefly: relying slowly on the strength of power without attention to the cultivation of the mind is where the error lies. Strength of power without, this, sorry. This word 折一为进 strength of power. And another one, Ni Yuanlu, the finance minister at the time, presented the Emperor Chongzhen with 6 reasons against promoting Kunyu Gerzi, 3 of which were rooted in absolute qi monism, arguing that mining would disrupt the motion of qi, thereby affecting the energy of mountains, homes, graves, and even the capital. Ni Yuanlu and Liu Zongzhou's opposition to mining was rooted in China's qi-based monism, the very concept Kunyu Gerzi sought to reshape through a materialistic understanding of mineral formation. While Kunyu Gerzi provided effective method as Li Tianjin had hoped, and seemed aligned to Emperor Chongzhen's goals for state wealth, it missed addressing deeper concerns of scholars like Liu Zongzhou and Ni Yuanlu, the harmonious alignment of mind and moral order. French intellectual historian Alexander Quacqui described this shift is modernity's tragedy. This is the tragedy of modern mind, which solves the riddle of the universe, but only to replace it by another riddle, the riddle of itself. For Chinese intellectuals, achieving such harmony through natural knowledge and technical practice was conceivable only with a monastic cosmology of qi. This vision was precise Song Yinxing's ideas, as Dagmar Schäfer revealed in her The Crafting of the 10,000 Things. As we know, the modern world has long demonstrated the utility and the success of Agricola's helomorphic natural philosophy. Our industrial civilization is fundamentally built on this foundation. Yet, nearly a century of modernity critique has reminded us of the limitation of helomorphism and the dualistic philosophy. The ecological crisis brought about by industry civilization and the nihilism fostered by modern rationalism both urge us to reconsider: is it time to explore a new nature philosophy, perhaps even a new metaphysics? In the context, Chinese intellectual resource resurface. John Adam may have failed to reconcile Western and Chinese philosophy in the 17th century, but now this task has once again fallen to us. Thank you for attention. That's my